Okay, so we are going to start off with the I have to give you one more information regarding the information source or the average information content present in a discrete, memoryless and statistically independent source. The source which is generating the symbols or the alphabet which are independent of each other. So which is producing an independent symbols, then such a source is called as the memoryless and independent source. So in such cases we have a typical scenario where the probabilities of the symbols that are generated or the alphabets that are generated will be equal for all the cases. Like, let's suppose I will take a particular example. I have a source which is only generating 2 alphabets, out of which one alphabet is generated with the probability P. The second alphabet will be generated, which is quite obvious, by a probability 1 minus P. In such case, the average information content present in this by the source is given by H summation I running from 1 to 2 Pi log to base 2 of 1 over Pi. So if I expand this by applying these probabilities, I would get P into log to base 2 of 1 by P plus 1 minus P into log to base 2 of 1 over 1 minus P. This will be the information content that is present when I have only 2 bits or 2 alphabets generated from a discrete source. So this is the example. So let's suppose if there are m such independent symbols that are generated, and let us consider the scenario where all these m symbols are equally likely. That means generation of one symbol will have the same probability as the generation of the other symbol. That means P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3, so on. It will be equal to the probability of the symbol m, and that will be equal to a value 1 over m. That is what we saw yesterday, right? Alphabets A, B, C, D. If we are going to consider all the 26 alphabets, the appearing of A will not be depending on appearance of B. So that is one case when I am representing only one memoryless system. In such cases, when I have the scenario where all the symbols are statistically independent of each other, the occurrence of one will not depend on the occurrence of the other. In such cases, all the probabilities of the symbols will be same, and it will be equal to 1 by how many independent symbols that are generated, which is 1 by m. In such case, the entropy of the system, the entropy of the discrete system will be given by H is equal to summation I running from 1 to m Pi log to base 2 of 1 over Pi. So what is this Pi now? Pi is equal to 1 by m, and this one will give me log to base 2 of m, correct? So this will be equal to the maximum value. This gives us the maximum entropy. This gives us the maximum entropy, and this will be evaluated by, will be equal to log m to base 2, which will be the maximum possible entropy. I am writing the units here, bits per symbol. So whenever I have all the bits that are, all the symbols that are independent of each other, then I get the maximum entropy. That means there is maximum disturbance. That means they are, each and every symbol or each and every alphabet will contain equal amount of information, and thereby I cannot neglect the appearance of any of these symbols that are coming out of the discrete source. Therefore, this gives us a scenario where I am going to make use of largest values or largest number of bits to represent one alphabet, which is quite obvious. That is what I told you yesterday. When I have A generated independent of B, independent of C and D, so on, if I extend the independent appearance of the alphabets till Z, then I have 26 such characters. The probability of occurrence of each one of these will amount to 1 by 26. And if I want to code this, I shall make use of log m to base 2, where m is 26. But this is not going to give me an appropriate value. It gives me a value of fraction which amounts to around 4 point something. You can calculate it out. We are going to equate it to a nearest higher value of integer. The nearest higher value of integer would be 5, which is I am making use of 5 bits to represent one symbol. So this is quite obvious. Why? Because when I have all the symbols are being independent of each other, it is necessary to equally represent all the symbols without being biased. Okay. So this is an validation of the statement that was made yesterday, that whenever I have an independent, statistically independent source generating the symbols which are independent of each other, then such a system will have maximum entropy. That means it will require to treat all the symbols equally, thereby I cannot vary the length of the sequence while generating the code for such a information. But now we will arrive at a scenario. Usually, even though I took an example of ABCD, in general, whenever I want to send an English sentence or any finite set, let us assume I have a finite set of elements like this, finite set of alphabets. If I want to generate a message, it will always not be independent, rather it is going to be a dependent scenario. That means when I say, let's suppose I'll start with the letter E. Appearance of E, A, I, O, U, the 5 vowels will be appearing most frequently in a particular word than the consonants. That is quite, we have observed right from the time we have known English words, that vowels appear for the most number of times, more frequently when compared to that of consonants. So without vowels, no sentence or no word is complete. So therefore, the letter E is most frequently appearing. Therefore, its probability or the information content, though since its probability will be more, the information content corresponding to this probability would always be less, because it's not conveying any information. I think you might have come across a meme where there will be vowels missing out in a given sentence, but you will still be able to read that, because of the reason that we have been so trained, we have been so accustomed with those words, such that even without vowels we can understand what the word is. That is what your SMS language, right? You're going to cut short the vowels and then you're going to just use the consonants in order to reduce the message, and then you can send it in a short form, right? So that is what we will use in our day-to-day activities. See, we as a human itself, what we will do, in order to not type more, we are going to remove the vowels but just use the consonants and then try to convey the message. Similarly, the system should also do this process where the information content is very less. It is going to just figure that out and then try to reduce the amount of bits that we are trying to transmit over the channel, and only convey those which will contain largest information. Let's suppose I have a letter or alphabet called as Q. Then the probability of its appearance is actually very less in our English words. So therefore, the information contained by this letter Q would be higher. I hope you are getting my point. Please acknowledge one of you. The class is very silent. Yes, are you able to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Okay. So this is the kind of scenario that we normally come across, and this is not only just about a single word, but most of the English words are dependent on each other. That means if Q is appearing, I can predict what actually would be the next letter that would be coming in. And if it is a letter E, then I can also predict to a certain extent. But all these things will, when I form a complete sentence, the probability of the entire message, the total information content of the entire message cannot be evaluated like before, because they are no longer statistically independent, but they are dependent on each other. That means the message which is conveying certain information will wait for the entire message to complete. That means if I write a word called as yes, letter called as yes, it will wait for it is not conveying any information, but it is just yes, and then I am waiting for the next symbol to come. Then this is making some sense. Yes, you is making some sense. Then I write the third letter, then this is making a complete sense now. Sun. Similarly, if I write a letter called as T, it's not conveying anything. It will wait for the second. Then it will have some meaning. It will expect vowel or a consonant. So next would be E or I or A, depending on whatever I am trying to write. Once E appears, then the next few letters can be predicted. It could be either a E, it could be either a yes. So like that I can predict. So I hope you have used dictionary, correct? You have used, every one of you used dictionary? Say yes or no. Oxford English Dictionary, you have used it, right, in your school days?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How do you search a word? First you will go to a particular letter, then you will look at the second one, then the third one. Similarly, in order to make some sense of the message, the source has to generate a sequence of symbols or sequence of alphabets. When put together, it will form a message. So therefore, it is going to be dependent, the information contained in the message is going to be dependent on the previously existing symbols, and they cannot be independent of each other. Okay, in such cases, how do we evaluate the entropy? So here is one thing, the dependency of an alphabet to the preceding section or the preceding alphabet. There is a process that we need to come across. So appearance, you need to understand one thing over here. Whenever I am writing a message, let's suppose I will take this example itself, which is tree. I am taking the example of a tree itself. Appearance of T is random. Appearance of R is also random. Appearance of E is also random. Appearance of this fourth alphabet is also random. All these are a random quantity. Okay, but when they appear together one after the other, then it will have less random nature. That means when the T appears, it is random in nature. When R appears, it is quite predictable. When E appears, it is more predictable. And another E appears, then your message is complete, and this contains the information. So as and when we go on building the message, it is going to be more predictable than the randomness. So here, though it is a random process, we are going to have certain model in order to decide what is, we can also use the model, we can generate a model by, if it is a finite number of elements, I can generate a model which is going to convey better predictability which can bring in the predictability in the system. So whenever I have a finite set of elements in my discrete source, then I can generate a set of model. I can have a model sort of a thing which gives me the statistical nature of the transition from one alphabet to the other alphabet. So the random process, so whatever the letter that is generating, it is a random process, and the transition from or the appearance of one alphabet after the other can be modeled by what is called as, we are going to make use of a statistical model called as Markov process. Have you heard of this term before? Yes or no? Markov statistical
No, ma'am.
model. Have you heard of this?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. So what is this Markov process will do is, whenever I have a finite set of states or finite set of alphabets, I can predict the movement from one state to the other state with what probability is moving, it is going from one state to the other. If I know that, then I can build a model which will help me in finding out the entropy, and whatever might be the length of the message, I will still be able to generate, I can still be able to measure what is the entropy of the system. So there is one such example over here. I am going to consider an example here. Only after example, I think you will be able to understand this. So please kindly observe and then try to understand. So I am going to take a Markov process, the statistical model, which is given to me already. There are three states in this Markov process. So there is state 1, state 2, state 3. The source can start at any state. The source, if it starts from first state and end up in a same state, then it generates letter A with a probability half. Then if from state 1, if I am moving to state 2, it is generating a letter C with a probability 1/4. Okay, then from state 2, it is ending to the state 2 itself. While this is happening, letter C is generated with a probability equal to half. Then from state 2, I can move to state 3. I don't know whether you can see the self loop. Pardon me, I am going to rewrite this. This is self loop generating letter C with a probability half. Then from state 2, I can move to state 3. Generating the letter B with a probability 1/4. Then from state 3, I can move from state 3 and end up in a state 3, generating an alphabet called B with a probability half. Then from state 3 to 1, I can move like this, and this generates alphabet A with the probability 1/4. Again, I can go in the reverse order. From 1 to 3 I can move. This is going to generate an alphabet B with the probability 1/4. I can move from 3 to 2, generating an alphabet C with probability 1/4. I can move from 2 to 1, generating an alphabet A with the probability 1/4. So this is the Markov statistical model that is given to me. Okay, now using this, I have to predict what is the letter that is coming in, or what is the entropy that is contained in the information generated by one such source. Okay, my source is characterized like this. My source can start at any state. It can start at state 1 or state 2 or state 3. It can start anywhere, and it can generate 3 finite alphabets A, B and C, and transition from A to B can be predicted whether it is moving from, if it is present at state 1, if it is if it is generating a alphabet called as A, it has one possibility that A is generated by self loop. Then there is only one way that it can generate A, which is by self loop, being present at state 1. Then it can generate the next alphabet depending on whether it could be B, it could be C. So in order to generate B, it will move from 1 to 3 with generating the letter B with a probability 1 by 4. Okay, that is what this diagram states. So the probability that my source will be being present at state 1 or state 2 or state 3, there are 3 finite states. So therefore the probability of the source being at state 1 at time instance 1 is what we call it as 1 by 3. So all these 3 states will have equal probability of the source starting from state 1 or state 2 or state 3. So therefore P2 is 1 by 3, P3 of 1 is equal to 1 by 3. Okay, so this is the initial known thing for us. Now I will take an example of how the message called AB is generated from this particular source and how to calculate the entropy over here. So please make a note of this diagram. This is very important. This gives you an idea of what is the statistical distribution and how the symbols are being connected from one state to the other. It is given to us, and they are not independent of each other, they are dependent of each other, which is shown by the self loop and the transitions. Shall we proceed? Have you noted this down? Please say yes or no.
Ma'am.
Okay. So we will start off with how the source is going to generate a message called as AB. So I want to predict what is the probability of this AB, the entire probability of the message which is called as AB. So let us look at the ways in which I can produce a message called as AB. Okay. What is the first scenario where I can produce the message called as AB? I can generate AB message in the first way by moving from state 1 to state 1, which generates letter A, state 1 to state 1, which generates letter A first. Then I can generate B. From being at state 1, I can generate B by moving from 1 to 3. So I am presently at 1, I can move to 3. This entire thing will generate the message called as A and B. Then this is the first possibility. The second possibility of generating AB is, let us assume I am present at state 2. In state 2, being at state 2, I can generate letter A by moving from 2 to 1. So I am present at 2. I can generate A by moving from 2 to 1. And being at 1, I can generate B by moving from state 1 to 3. Okay, this is the second possibility. Then there is third possibility, that I can move from, I am present currently at state number 3, I can generate A by moving from 3 to 1. Okay, that is generation of A. Generation of B, now I am currently present at 1, I can generate B from the state 1 only by transition from 1 to 3. I hope this you have got. Understood? Please say yes or no.
Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes, tell me.
Ma'am, can't we do like 2 to 1 and 2 to 3, ma'am?
2 to 1 if you move, You are already in state 1. You have to begin from there itself. Please remember, you cannot go back.
Okay, ma'am.
You cannot go back. Once you shift from one state to the other, you are currently present at the present state. So you have to look for a way to end up in a final state starting from that particular state. See, assume that I am generating a word called as ABA. Okay, if I am present at A, I have to look for a way of appearing at or arriving at B. Okay, I am here at B. In order to generate A, I should not go back to A and find A. No, it is wrong. From B, I have to find A. Okay, assume that I have some word which making some sense, then you will understand. In order to have a word called as tree, I'll take the example as tree itself. I will first find out how to get T. Then from T, I am going to find a way to get a R. Then once I found R, I will find a way to E. While finding the way to E, I should not go back to T and find E. That is wrong because I am currently already present at R. If I go back to T and find E, it will be TE. It will not be TR. I hope you are understanding this. Did you get this? The word or the message, whatever the message that you are trying to convey, the present symbol will only depend on the preceding symbol, preceding one symbol or preceding one alphabet. It will not depend on the previous. No. It is just dependent on the previous word. It will not depend on the previous 2 bits or 3 bits. No, there is only one symbol memory or one alphabet memory. E can only depend on R. E cannot depend on T. Did you get this? In that case,
Okay,
your message will not be tree, it will be TE. Please say yes or no. If you are not understanding, I can say it again. I can explain it again.
Understood, ma'am.
Okay. So, finding the message called as AB, I have different ways to obtain AB. Starting from, if the initial state is 1, then I can start at 1 and end at 1 to get a letter A, and start at 1 and end at 3 to get B. If I begin at state 2, then 2 to 1 transition will give me A, 1 to 3 transition will give me B. If I start at 3, 3 to 1 will give me A and 1 to 3 will give me B. So, the probability of the message AB, I don't know from which state it is going to start. Therefore, the probability of this sequence, the total probability of appearance of B is the probability that it will go through this sequence plus the probability that it will go through this sequence plus the probability that it might go through this state. That means P of AB will be equal to probability that it is going to begin at state S1 and then it is going to S2, the state S2 is also equal to 1. This is the state of the individual symbol. This I call it as S1, S2 and S3. The state transition to get the message called as AB. S2 is 1, S3 is equal to 3 plus probability that S1 is equal to 2, S2 is equal to 1, S3 is equal to 3 plus probability S1 is equal to 3, S2 is equal to 1, S3 is equal to 3. This is the total probability that it is the probability of getting a message called as AB. Now, how to find this out? Find this is by making use of chain rule or chain rule of probabilities. What is a chain rule will tell is to find out the probability that S1 is equal to 1, S2 is equal to 1, S3 is equal to 3. This probability is given by the chain rule of probability that states probability that first it begins at state 1, P of S is equal to 1, S1 is equal to 1, then multiplied by the probability that S2 is equal to 1 given that S1 is equal to 1. Okay, now multiplied by probability that S3 is equal to 3 given that S1 is equal to 1 and S2 is equal to 1. See here, though I wrote two states, the previous two states, it is not actually dependent on S1, rather it is only dependent on S2. So this is just S2 is equal to 1. So this is the chain rule of probability. You can make use of this in order to find out what is the total probability of individual transition paths that is taken in order to get a message called as AB. How we can simply do this process is by writing what is called as a tree diagram. So let us try to write the tree diagram for this Markov process. I think this is clear. I'm going to erase this part. I'll write a tree diagram which can easily give me an idea about how to arrive at the probability of the final message that I am trying to generate. And here you can also see how what and all different message is possible from the given Markov process. So we shall do that now. So we have initially started with three different states. Which are those states? State 1, state 2, state 3. And each one of these is appearing with a probability. The probability that I can start with either one of the three is 1 by 3. From 1, what are all the different alphabets that are generated? Please do let me know. I can move from 1 to 1, that is the first possibility. I can move from 1 to 2, that is second possibility, and I can move from 1 to 3, this is the third possibility. Then that is from state 2, I can move to state 1, or I can be at state 2, or I can go to state 3. And from 3, I can go to state 1, I can go to state 2, or I can go to state 3. Please give me what output you are going to get in each transition. If I move from 1 to 1, what is the alphabet that is generated? If I move from state 1 to state 1, what is the alphabet that is generated? Yes. With what probability? Probability.
1 by 2, ma'am.
Huh?
1 by 2. 1
Yes.
by 2.
After writing you are saying, okay, it is 1 by 2. The next one, moving from state 1 to 2, which is the letter that is generated? Moving from 1 to 2.
C.
C. What is the probability here?
1 by 4.
1 by 4. 1 to 3, it is B with the probability 1 by 4. Like this, I can go on writing what are the probabilities of obtaining in each case for transition from 2 to 1. Then 2 to 2 I can get letter C with a probability half. From 2 to 3 if I move, I get a letter B with a probability 1 by 4. If I move from 3 to 1, I get the letters A, I guess, with a probability 1 by 4. From 3 to 2, I'll get letter C with a probability 1 by 4. If I move from 3 to 3, I get a letter B with a probability half. This is what I know. So I'm currently at 1 now. This is at the end of the first symbol. This is at the end of first symbol interval. This is the state at the end of first interval, first symbol interval. Okay. Then I can extend this particular source to the second symbol. How to extend? Again I am beginning with state 1. So there are three possibilities. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So each and every state I can have 3 states again, because after finding out A, I can have 3 possibilities. So whatever is valid for my message, I am going to write only that. What is my first letter here in my message? It is A, correct? So wherever I have A, I will find out what are the 3 states for that. So in the first loop, I have my A in state 1 currently. So I am going to extend that particular wing only. So I have again from here 1, 2 and 3. So from 1 to 1 if I move, I am going to get A again. If I move from 1 to 2, I get C. If I move from 1 to 3, I get B. Then I will find out again how to get an A, which is 2 to 1. So I will write only here. So again I have a probability that I can move to one of these 3 states. So again 1 to 1 if I move, I get A. 1 to 2 if I move, I get C. 1 to 3 if I move, I get B. Here again 3 to 1 if I move, I am going to get A. I am going to extend this to the next 3 states, that is 1, 2, 3. If I move from 1 to 1, I get A. If I move from 1 to 2, I get C. If I move from 1 to 3, I get B. So these are the 3 possibilities where I can get, after the first letter A, I can change it to these 3 possibilities. If I move from 1 to 1, then 1 to 1, I get the message called as AA. If I move from 1 to 1 and 1 to 2, I get a message called as AC. If I move from 1 to 1, 1 to 3, I get a message AB. If I move from 2 to 1 and 1 to 1, I get the message AA. 2 to 1, 1 to 2, I get AC, then AB. Then here again, 3 to 1 and 1 to 1, AA. 3 to 1 and 1 to 2, I get AC, then I get AB. So you can see in these 3 combinations, AB is appearing thrice. Now if I want to measure the probability of the message AB, I need to follow this process. What is this? The probability of AB is equal to probability of the source starting at the first state. It is given by probability of starting from state S1. It is equal to 1 by 3 multiplied by the probability that the state transition happening from 1 to 1. It is half to get an A. So it is half multiplied by the probability that it will go from 1 to 3, because I am looking for a message called as AB. So 1 to 3, and this probability will be equal to 1 by 4. So it is multiplied by 1 by 4. This is the first link, first transition. Coming to the second transition, the probability that it is going to begin at state 2 is 1 by 3. The probability that it will go from state 2 to 1 to get an A is equal to 1 by 4. So this will be multiplied by 1 by 4. Probability that it moves from 1 to 3, again it is, probability is 1 by 4 less the probability that it will start at state 3 is 1 by 3. Moving from 3 to 1 is, to get an A is 1 by 4, and moving from 1 to 3 to get a B is again 1 by 4. And see, remember, this is the state at the end of second time interval, or the second symbol interval. State at the end of second interval, second symbol interval. Okay, so I have generated 2 symbols now. So if you put all these together, you are going to get the probability of AB. So what is this? 1 by 6 into 1 by 4, which is equal to 1 by 24, plus 1 by 12 into 1 by 4, which is equal to 1 by 48, plus 1 by 3, that is 1 by 12 into 1 by 4, which is equal to 1 by 48. So 1 by 48, 1 by 48, when you add them together, you are going to get 1 by 24. 1 by 24, 1 by 24, if you add, you are going to get 1 by 12. So the probability of this Markov source or this independent source to generate the message called as AB, the probability with which you are going to get a message called as AB is equal to 1 by 12. Okay, so now it is you saw an example in the previous independent source that the probability of getting an A was 1 by 26. The probability of getting a B was also 1 by 26. So the total probability would be 1 by 26 into 1 by 26. But here it is not the case. Okay, so here it is a dependent source. In practical scenarios, it will be a dependent source only. It cannot be independent source. Therefore, the probability that in this particular Markov source to generate a message called as AB, I am going to get a probability equal to 1 by 12. Similarly, I can generate a message called as AC or AA or BA or BC or BB, like that. I can have multiple different messages here and try to figure out what will be the probability of getting that particular message from this source. I hope I have made this clear. If you have not understood at any stage, please do let me know so that I can help you out.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, since the transition from stage 1 to stage 3 is common, can we take that common, ma'am?
Common. Yeah, but your current state is different, right? I mean, to move to state 1, you can begin at state 1, you can begin at state 2, you can begin at state 3. Only when you are present at 1, since your letter is B, I have only one path to do so, which is 1 to 3 to get a letter B. You cannot take this common. How will you take it common? Because the state at which I am starting is unknown to me. I can either start at 1 or start at 2 or start at 3. This is not known to me. This is not fixed. This selecting the state is a random thing. I don't know from where my source is going to start. So therefore, I cannot keep this as common because it is coming later stages. Assume that this is the time axis. Okay. This is the time axis in the x-axis. I am moving in time. This is a time instance t0. This is a time instance t is equal to 1. This is a time instance t is equal to 2. In order to make a time t is equal to 2 a common scenario, I cannot decide at t0 itself. Right? I have to first generate a letter called as A. Only then I can find out the different ways of getting a B. Okay, getting A itself, it's a random thing. I can start at either one of the state. Okay, here the probability I am calculating is dependent on the method how the source is going to pick the alphabet. Or what is the probability after what and what we need to find out this probability. You cannot just randomly say AB is appearing only once and multiply the probability of A and probability of B. How do you consider that? You have to look at the process, you have to look at the state transitions, only then you can decide upon that. I hope I have answered your doubt. Tejas? Fine? Please respond. Okay, so thank you all for joining the class, and we are going to end it over here. We will take even more examples when we discuss in the afternoon's class. Afternoon at 2 o'clock you will have DC class again. So we are going to discuss different examples there again. We shall see if you have any doubts you can ask over there. Okay. Thank you all for joining.